Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I'm Harpreet Singh, the moderator for today's conference, and today's topic is values that make us better human beings. We are celebrating the 400th Prakash Purab of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, and from May 1st onwards till May 9th, we are having speakers from around the world who are focusing on the legacy of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. And our focus in this conference is as to, while we are proud of the legacy of our gurus, but more important is what is it that we need to incorporate in our daily lives from their teachings. So our focus today will be on these issues, and I would like to welcome four of our guests: Minreet Kaur from UK, Gurpreet Kaur from USA, Dr. Jasbir Puri from Ireland, and Mr. Muhammad Habeem from India. So let's welcome all our guests and continue with our discussion for today's topic, values that make us better human beings. Welcome to all the participants. Jianuji.
Gianna, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for sparing your time and being with us. So Minreet, we would like to start with you, and just a brief introduction about Minreet is that she's an award-winning journalist and the daughter of the skipping Sikh. You must have heard about him. He's in the news these days, and he has also announced that he's going to compete in the London Marathon by skipping the entire journey. She covers the topics that are from underreported communities, and having worked across BBC, Sky, Huffington Post, Al Jazeera, Stylist, and The Independent, she is a well-known authority in the field of journalism. So, Minreet ji, Jianu, welcome to the program, and we would like to hear from you for the next 10-12 minutes about the values that make us better human beings from the perspective of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. I really feel quite humbled and honoured, so thank you. So I think I'd like to start off with really the most important thing that I think I've learned from Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is the Salok Mahalla Noa. So that in itself, I mean, is just a way of how to live life. And there's so much that I feel I listen to in that makes me every day realise the things that do make us better human beings. So if I could start off with, just one of the things for me is to overcome greed. So greed is very important because it's one of those things that we as human beings, we always feel that we have this desire sometimes that we want more. Or we look at other people and we always think, well, they have this, and, what if I had this? So I've learned to overcome, that kind of thinking of sometimes in my career, in the industry that I'm in, where I always think I'm not where I want to be, but I would like to be here. And as a journalist, it's very hard. As a woman of colour, it's very hard. So, one thing that I think has made me has overcome just feeling that, or even a better human being, is to actually wish well for people. So if somebody's doing really well, you should just say, God bless them. I wish them well. I wish them more success. That's something that I've implemented in my life on a daily basis, is to wish those well, and for anyone out there to wish them well, and to not feel greedy of anything, whether that could be of materialistic things, of wanting more in life, or just of thinking I need to be in a certain place in my life. No, I'm quite happy where I am. Guruji has time and time again said to us to live in the will of God and to accept the hukum, which is God's will. So I very much accept where I am. I'm happy where I am, and I'm grateful for everything that I have. Another thing that leads into that is things like desire. So that, similarly, we desire to maybe, like, for example, now with the COVID situation, we desire to go on holiday, or we desire to be outside, or we desire, these things that we desire. I really feel that this is something that has a not very good impact on your mental health or on your own mind. If you're always wanting to do something more, or you're wanting to be somewhere else, or you're wanting more holidays, it's that desire of just wanting more. We shouldn't want more. So we should be happy with what we have. So that's another thing, I've tried to implement into my life, is to not be greedy, not have that desire, and just again, be content with everything where I am, and to accept what is, and to wish well for everyone out there. And for everyone to be in Jaddi Kala, which is a state of happiness. Another thing is ego. Now, this can be very difficult in the sense of sometimes, you don't realize if, for example, my parents will say, I don't know, they might say something about, they might have a different point of view compared to me, and I may not agree. And I think sometimes it's just that ikjok source of kind of where you don't want to have that ego, but you don't want to kind of say anything to upset their feelings. If we live in this kind of state of nimrata and being grateful for what we have, and not having that ego and just kind of saying, Hanji, that's okay. and not having any ego or any kind of, oh, I know more than you, or, that kind of thing. I think it's that thing of where we use the I know this, or I know better than you, just to not have that in your life, and just everyone is who they are. Everyone has a point of view. Everyone's right in their own way. But the way that you can overcome ego is to not have that I want this or I want that. It's just to be, normal, basically, and to not argue with anybody. And if someone's saying something, you might not agree with them, sorry, but there's no need to hurt their feelings. And I think ego can come in all shapes and form. It can come in sometimes people's attitude, how they think they're better than people. It can come in the I know this, I know that. It can come in just how we stop talking to people sometimes because we don't agree with the way that they are. I really feel that there's one thing that we could do a lot more of, which is love more, be kind, and care. That way, I think if you do that, you don't really have that ego. Another thing in terms of being a better human being is this pain. So sometimes, again, if we feel someone's upset us or someone said something to us, we end up taking that pain ourselves. When actually, if someone does say something to you and you don't really agree with them or you don't like what they've said, if you just for that moment just say, okay, Guruji, this is in your hukum, it's okay. I've noticed with me, it makes you feel better. You don't then hold a grudge or you don't feel upset or you don't feel that pain. It's okay because everything is in God's will. And I think that is one of the most important things in life that I feel, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji has said to us. It's about the fact of just being content and accepting God's will. I think if you accept God's will in everything, things just become less painful, less egotistical, less desirable, and less of the greed. So these are the 4 principles that I felt that I've tried to implement into my life to become a better human being myself, but also for other people. And another thing that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was very much about is about being liberated while living. So Jivan Mukti, which is known as the real truth, says Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So Jivan Mukti is very important, and that idea of attaining Jivan Mukti by making peace with every life situation. Now, I believe life is very short. None of us know how long we're going to be here. You should definitely make peace with every life situation. I went through a divorce, and that was 12 years ago, and I could have held a grudge, and I did at the time. It was very hard for me. It was very difficult for my family. And the first thing you automatically think is, well, why did it happen to me? And you could have that hate in your heart because nobody wants to be divorced. Secondly, nobody wants to go through that pain. But I didn't, and I made peace. I wish my ex-husband well, I wish his family well, and I felt better for it. And that's something that I will say to other people. I mean, I think this principle of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, about being a merciful savior of the weak, and that is what he preached. And he taught his disciples to protect the ones who need protection and for making that peace in every life situation. I think that is so important. I think if we can make peace ourselves and for other people to be at peace and to put other people before ourselves is to do selfless service. And I think that is very important. These are very important things to become a better human being. The other thing that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was very much, their message was about the Lord that lives within us. So, God is actually in us. Sometimes we think we need to look outside, but actually you only need to look within yourself to connect with Guruji. And that was something that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was very strong on. And their message is that, everything is inside of you, outside of you, inside me, outside me. So actually God is inside all of us. And one thing I think I have it on my WhatsApp actually, is something about God helps those who help themselves. And something around if you hurt someone, you're actually hurting God. And I believe that, I think before you say anything to anybody, we should always think about the things that we say, because you don't realize the power of words. And sometimes, we end up saying things, but we don't think about what we're saying. And if you're hurting that person, you're hurting God. And the one thing I love, about Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, about Sikhi, is that it is very simple. It's about love. It's about kindness. It's about being content it's about putting others first. I think that is a really beautiful way to live life because, and also to not really want anything and just to be happy with what you have. And I do believe in this current situation that we're in with COVID and realizing that actually, look, lots of people went without. It was very much about living a simple life. I'm quite happy in living a simple life. I think when we come out of COVID, I haven't really got a desire to be going out with lots of friends or to be somewhere in my career. In fact, what I would love to do more of is to be able to do more naam japna, to pray, to meditate, to do more selfless service, and as much as I can to give back. I really want to spend time with those people that maybe are feeling lonely or maybe may just need someone to listen to them, because life is really short. We are actually going to go with nothing in terms of materialistic things. What we're going to go with is the good that we do here, the things that we think, the things that we say, and the things that we do, and they're all accounted for. So I really feel good at Bahadurji's principles they're just so beautiful. It's about teaching you how to live life, but living life in the most simplest and purest way, and being able to give back to others and putting others first. And that's something that I'm trying to. These are a few of the things that I'm trying to implement in my own life. But I also think if other people do too, it makes a really, really big difference. It really does. It just makes you more of a positive person. It just makes you more at peace. You don't feel upset. You don't feel you want anything more. You feel like where you are in your life is the right place for you to be. So these are some of the things that I felt the good part the Jews taught me, and I'd like to share with other people.
Wonderful. Minreet, thank you very much for your perspective, because what you have talked about, these basic values of kindness, love, affection, contentment, helping others, this time, especially when we are in this crisis, if we are able to incorporate these values in our daily lives, life can be absolutely blissful, and all the tension what we have right now will just evaporate from there. Thank you very much for giving your perspective. So my question to you would be now that you work with the community, you have covered many stories with the community, within the community, and also outside the community. What do you feel we as Sikhs, where are we lacking today, and what are the solutions you would like to offer?
So I think the biggest thing that we're lacking, and this is from me looking at the Black community and the Muslim community, is I feel they very much have iqda. And I feel as a community, we as a faith are very strong. We have so many people know what the Sikhs stand for. Everyone I speak to says, oh, the Sikhs are such beautiful people. They're a lovely religion. They're so kind. Yeah, that's great that, that they are the principles of our gurus. But I don't feel that what our gurus had, we have right now. I don't feel that we have that iqda in our own community. The one thing I definitely feel that we're lacking, and I feel it myself because I've been on the end of it, is that there is no support from organizations, from the organizations who are using Sikh in their titles. They're not there helping the Sikh community. They're there helping themselves to build a name. That is not Sikhi. I feel the Muslim community and the Black community, I feel it because I've had, with my dad's story, if I can give my dad's story as an example, as the skipping sea, I had more support. This is quite sad. I had more support from the Muslim community than I did from my own. And yet we could really be up there in the media, in everything. We could really be up there. But, in our own community, we don't even support one another. And that jealousy, I feel, and that kind of competition that we have, this is not everyone, but I'm just saying for the
Right.
organizations who should be educating people are not doing that. So I feel that we lack that iqda, definitely iqda, that unity in our community. We just don't have it, and we need
Right.
more of it.
So
And we
what
need more
solution
women.
would you
The other
like to
thing,
offer for this? What do you feel? What should we do on this? Where to start?
I think that I think where do we start is from, actually talking about it. I feel the people that feel they're not supported. So women, for example, myself as a woman, I don't feel that I get the support that men do. I think people need to hear us, they need to understand us, and they need to accept it that more needs to be done to be able to help more women to come forward, but also to support women in the community so that they can rise and be role models for the younger generation. And I think it starts from discussions, or it starts from someone coming forward to say, well, I'm going to take the lead on that. It starts from finding that sangat that say, well, we want to help and we want to bring us together. I just don't feel right now we have that. We have too many segregated groups and people, and it's just, you end up then just doing everything yourself because you just think, well, I've got my Guruji, I don't really need anyone else. And that's wrong, because the important part of Sikhism is sangat.
Right. Great. Wonderful. Thank you very much. So our next speaker is Dr. Jasbir Singh Puri. Dr. Jasbir Singh Puri was born in a family deeply involved in Sikh affairs. He completed his medical studies at Maulana Azad Medical College, New Delhi, and was awarded MBBS in January 1975. Dr. Jasbir Singh Puri came to Ireland in November 1988, pursued higher studies, and completed his fellowship in anesthesia with Royal College of Surgeons in 1993. Presently, he is working with Health Services Executive as consultant anesthetist at Our Lady of Lords Hospital. Dr. Jasbir Singh Puri is very passionate about working with diverse communities in Ireland and has been instrumental in addressing various issues of Indian communities and Sikh community in particular issues which otherwise were not taken care of. Some of his involvements in numerous forums include peace councils, community and statutory groups, and he's a founding member of the and trustee of Dublin City Interfaith Forum, about which he always tries to present the Sikh perspective. Dr. Puri, thank you very much for being with us today, and for the next 10 to 12 minutes, we would like to hear your views.
Thank you very much for a kind introduction. And we see God has created, man is created by the God. And the obedience to the law and order of the Creator is the duty of the created being. We as human beings, we have to look after the creation of the Creator. Khalik khalak, khalak mein khalik, pur reo sab fine. The Creator lies in the Creator. And everybody is His creation. So whom to call good or whom to call bad. Like awal Allah noor paya kudrat ke sab bande, ek noor te sab jab upja kaun palik ko mande. Now, Guru Granth Sahib itself is a universal Sikh religion, and it teaches us how to, the Gurmat teaches us how to be a good human being. If we follow the Gurmat as such, like all our Gurus, right from Guru Nanak Dev Ji up to Guru Gobind Singh Sahib and Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, they were he was the second martyr in our community, and he was martyred on 11th November 1675 in Delhi on the orders of Aurangzeb at that time, who wanted everybody to have a one religion all over the world and everybody to be a Muslim. Guru said, "Paikau ko detna na paimanat an." He frighten no one and don't get frightened by anyone, because the God lives in us. And there should be a freedom of religion, worship, freedom for justice, and truth should be there. Truth will always prevail. Guru Sahib always, like when he was being executed there, he uttered a shlok there, what he said, Bal hoa bandhan chute. Then Guru Gobind said, another shlok is, Bal hoa bandhan chute, kachu na ho tu upay. First shlok was this. And the second was, Bal hoa bandhan chute, Nanak sab ke tumre haath mein, tumi ho sahay. That the God is within you and you are the savior for everybody. And that's how he saved the cause of the humanity. He was not only for Hindus, it was for freedom of humanity, freedom of justice, and freedom for worship. And he convinced to the people there at that time that you are trying to make one religion in the world, and there is only one religion, which is humanity. And if God wanted only Islam or Jewish or Hindu religion, He would have made the women of that religion not to produce children. So He has created all these things. So this is His progression, and He has brought the Sikh religion because of those things also. Guru Nanak gave us certain principles like Kirt Karo, Naam Japo, and Vanshako. And now here we are sharing our life. Guru proved that my life is for others also. And he said it, and he proved it. Guru proved it. We have to have a right resolve, right belief, right words, right deeds, right life, right endeavor, right thought, and right meditation. These are the paths given by our Gurus. Like, if you do not follow the ways of the gods, then we will say, like Parameshwar te pulya vyapan sab bero. Guru Nanak said it. Sache ure sabko, upar sach achar. Truth is high. Higher is the truthful living. Then, if you are truthful to yourself, then you will be truthful and pure, and you will be generous, you will be kind and humanity. And let's have a proper modesty. Gurmat teaches us to build the character. And the character of an individual only dwells in the society, nowhere else, but in the society. Which can be good or bad. All religions advocate society of good people. Uttam sangat uttam hove, avgun kau tave, avgun rove, tove. In the company of the saints, one develops the good qualities. And like there is no one who is my enemy, everybody is my friend. And our gurus, like the 10th guru at that time, when Pai Kaneya was giving it, it was proved that we love even our enemy. We are fighting on the principles, but at the same time, we are treating you. Was a divine mission more than the present day Red Cross, where the neutral people come and force. So that's how, if we imbibe our principles of all our gurus and the Gurmat, we can be a good human being. Now, like our 5th guru has taught us, humility thy my aim. Because he got the foundation stone of Golden Temple put by a Muslim saint, Saimia Mir. So this has never happened in the history of the world, in any annals of the history, that a saint from another religion has put up the foundation stone for their building. You know, that's why it is a common place, for universal place, for all reasons, and all people from all directions and faiths are welcome in there. While in some religions they don't allow this or that, there are restrictions. And now for women, we have given equality to the women, being like Sokyomanda Akhiye, Sitjamera Jan. That how can you call woman inferior who has given birth to a saint, a guru, and a king? You can't call her inferior. She is as equal as any other person. Now, 2 qualities in the character to be developed: earnestness and sociability. Now, all virtues are included in these 2 qualities. Everybody knows that the earnest man believes in the good effort, good action, and keen sense of duty. He lives by action, leading to happiness and harmony with the surroundings, with his own family, with the neighbors, with the community, within the country. And then the second great virtue of ethical conduct is sociability, which consists of helpfulness, patience, appreciativeness, right speech, modesty, love for justice, and humanity. The sociability also extends to animals. Like our 7th guru, he has sought for the animal love. He opened up the medicine as well as the veterinary clinics for animals to save the injured animals. We must help others, whatever way we are. You have seen it during this COVID day also. All Sikhs all over the world. The langar itself is one of the things, the pangat and the sangat, both, and we have been distributing the langar. And seva kar koi na kami, tisko prapat swami. The other requisite of sociability is patience and peace of mind. The anger should be avoided. The failure of satisfaction should be avoided, because we must remain in the Chardi Kala. That's what our gurus have taught us. The 9th guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, has proved himself that we have to learn from these things, that when our gurus have done us and shown us the way, and they also, if you look up, they develop ponds, they develop like some wells, they open schools. 5th guru, Guru Arjan Dev Ji, opened leper clinic at Taran Taran. So all these things, tell us that how we can extend our things. And the other thing, they have laid emphasis on education. Vidya vicharita propkari. If you akli paiye man, akli kije daan. You must give your knowledge to the other and spread the knowledge, and this will bring the people to be true, to be just and fair, and they will love all and hate none. Now, what is love? Love is God, and God is love. It is a limitless ocean of veracity leading to eternity. When, like nowadays, we all talk of GPS and the Wi-Fi. You need a code to get onto the Wi-Fi. Same is your code of conduct, your deeds, your personal life will always take you to the God. And God attributes, one has to bring it in. And our Guru, our ninth Guru has proved it. When Makhan Shah, Lubana, Dheermal shot our Guru, okay, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, then Makhan Shah, Lubana, who found the Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, when he went there to Dheermal and he brought the Guru Granth Sahib also back from him, and they said, we can, if you want, we can take all the possession. The Guru Ji, he came back and Guru Ji said, no, go and give back this Guru Granth Sahib copy back to them, because my father has given it to them and I have got no right to snatch it from them.
Right.
But see, here, there is no revenge. There is a helpfulness. The Guru has taught us this one. So we have to do the same thing. Wherever there is a justice, avarice has to go. Because lobi ka visar na kije. Money tells us, the lobi, you can't believe a person who is greedy, because he will put you into the debt.
Absolutely. Dr. Sahib, you have a minute to sum it up, please.
Okay. And these are the things, our gurus have taught. Now, we say peace. Okay. We have to bring peace to our mind in that society. Peace is, as the name suggests, we have to be pleasant and polite. We have to give equality to everybody, including women. Then we have to be amicable. Then C comes, be content and courteous to others.
Right.
Have a commonality. We should be looking for the commonalities. Then E, which means it is elegance and eloquent. We must do with the dignity, everything, but there should be no ego or arrogance. We have to take this account. Well, we say, wherever there is a knowledge, there is a piety. Wherever there is a greed, there is a death. Wherever there is a lie, there is not truth, And wherever the God, you forgive somebody, God is present there. And because it is within you, in the soul and the mind, one has to be working in coordination between activities of the head,
right,
heart, and the hand, between thought, speech, and action to aim for the life of the health, happiness, and harmony, to attain wholeness from fragmentation to wholeness. That's what we should believe. That's
Absolutely.
what. This is what the Chardi Kala means for us. That's what is our Chardi Kala. That's our Gurus taught us, all this one.
Wonderful perspective, Dr. Jasbir Puri ji. Thank you very much for sharing this wisdom with us. I wish I had more time and we could have listened to you more. But again, as I'm asking this question from everyone, as a Sikh, you represent the Sikhs in the interfaith councils. You do a lot of work in the community also. Where do you feel the Sikhs are lacking, and what solutions would you like to offer in the next 3 minutes, please?
We see wherever Guru have taught us to go after rituals, to go after certain things, and recognize the whole human race as one race, we are going away from that. We have got so many factions in our own community. We are not, doing it. And then another thing is the priestly class. Our history has been, we have to rewrite our history and correct the correct history, because our history has been destroyed. So we have to get the proper history done so that we correct all the things which were present in the Guru's time to bring it into the present time. We have to educate our society so that all, right from the village level up to the cities or foreign countries, we have to educate our Sikh. You see the Jewish community, there are maximum number of Nobel laureates from that community, because they have put emphasis on the education of the society. Vidya Vachari, Tapropkari. We have to do that. We have mixed our Akali Dal politics with SGPC. They should be separate. They should be totally separate. And there should be a different role for both of them. They can bring the political justice, the Akali Dal can bring, whereas the SGPC should bring the Gurmat into the common society. Our Granthis should be paid hire money
Right.
so that, and they should have a house of their own provided by the gurdwaras wherever they are, and they should pay them nicely so that they can look after their family, because householder is the greatest form of a part of the society, because even any beggar will come and ask from a householder. It is the householder who contributes. So we have to give back whatever we get, our daswan, to the gurdwaras. They should be back put into the society. That's where we are lacking. We are going in a very total different direction. Sikh community should form a think tank to take our society into the proper modern life in a methodical way. Our religion should be taught to our way in a scientific way. Why, what we are doing to our society. That's what I would like to say.
Wonderful.
And media, of course, should be top priority, that we, from the social media, we can educate ourselves, and I think that will be my perspective on
Wonderful, sir. That's really commendable. Thanks for this input. It was really very insightful, and we hope we are able to understand and incorporate these things into our homes, into our religious places, and into the community organization. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
My next speaker is Gurpreet Kaur ji from USA. Gurpreet Kaur is an educational professional and writer who is passionate about promoting engaged spirituality and inclusivity within the Panth. She is also an incoming Master of Divinity student who focuses on studying interreligious engagement, comparative religion, and ritualism. Welcome, Gurpreet Kaur ji, and for the next 10 to 12 minutes, we would like to listen to your views.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa,
Waheguru Ji Ki
Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. There are multiple values that make us better human beings and contribute to the success of humanity. But when I was thinking about which ones I was going to touch on today, I thought to myself, which values or value are ones that are much needed in this century but are dying? That's when one word instantly popped into my head: community. Community, at the end of the day, is what keeps humanity going. Imagine what seeking the Sikh community would look like if the Gurus had not set out to establish dharmsalas, gurdwaras, and similar institutions. There would be no sangat. There would be no discourse or vichar like we're having today. There would be no panth. There would be no langar to serve and distribute, and there would be no places of refuge for those in need of it. Imagine what society would look like if people didn't value community. Would we even have a society? The neighborhood you reside in wouldn't even exist. And there's even a possibility that the family unit wouldn't exist as well. Recently, I've been asking myself how this value of community fits into the lifestyle of a spiritualist, especially within the Sikh community. If we are not to attach ourselves to what is transitory or impermanent, including humans, then what is the point of being in community with others, having a family and having a friendship circle? Why not just run off into the forest, meditate, and just let the world burn? That's when I dived into Gurbani to see what I could discover. And what I discovered is that the point of being in community with others is simply to share. To share not only our possessions, our wealth, and these other transitory things, but to share our virtues, to share our empathy, to share love, our energy, and our time. Because as the other speakers have alluded to, Sikhi at the end of the day is a non-dualistic faith. Ek Onkar, Waheguru, Nirankar, Had, or whatever term you use to describe the supreme force, abides within every atom that constructs every physical thing. And by sharing and using our energy rooted in the supreme force or supreme flow to serve our community, we are serving Ek Onkar, inspiring others to bring forth that divinity within themselves. Keeping this in mind, we must recognize community as something beyond what we have defined for ourselves as community. When Guru Nanak set out to spread his message of oneness, he did not put a boundary down for himself and say, I'm just going to serve and spread this message to people who were born in the same region as me, or who have a similar skin tone to me, or whose issues, I experience as well. He did not abide by the man-made concepts of nationality, ethnicity, race, and culture. He abided by the sacred concept of Ek Onkar. He comforted where comfort was needed. He gave where there was lack. And he fed where there was hunger, whether it was spiritual or physical. With the backing of the Supreme supporting him, he shared and inspired others to bring forth that element of the Supreme or divinity residing within themselves. If it weren't for the community I was raised in and the community I currently am in today, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't be as considerate, I wouldn't be empathetic, or I wouldn't be as wise as I am today. Community, when done right, creates better human beings who go on to inspire others to be better human beings. And even though some might not see the value in community, we all can agree that having two or more people grouped together to spread goodness is better than having just one. We can do more united than divided. I want to make it clear, though, that we are all part of the same community. Human, animal, or plant, we all share the same singular origin. And that if we are living within the gourmet frame of oneness, your pain is my pain, and my pain is your pain. And therefore, I stand in solidarity with all who unjustly suffer. Whether it be indigenous populations across the globe who suffered at the hand of colonizers, minorities who have been killed or shot as a result of white supremacy, or farmers whose livelihoods have been endangered by their government. Because if I claim to serve Ikonkar, I must recognize that every body is a temple in which Ikonkar resides and must be treated as such. So lastly, I would say, let us not forget to express gratitude to those who've instilled within us values such as cooperation and community. May their actions and memories be a blessing, and may we follow in their divine footsteps to embody the virtues of the divine. Sat, so truth or truthful living or action. Daya, which is compassion. Santok, contentment. Nimrita, which is humility. And Pyar, love. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Thank you very much, Gurpreet Kaur ji, for this insightful perspective. So again, the same question with you as to what do you feel we as Sikhs are lacking and what solutions would you like to offer for that?
Yes, so it's very interesting whenever I listen to Sikhs who come from Europe, because the situation in Europe is different from the situation here in the US. Because the Sikh community here is on the smaller end in the US and less well known, it's a bit too united. So basically, what I mean by that is Sikhs here are very insular. They're very much in a bubble. You know, Sikhs will stick to themselves. They won't get outside of their bubble. And even, you know, throughout my years in university, because I'm graduating this May, I've been involved in interfaith work. I've been on interfaith council, etc. And for a lot of Americans, I would say probably 95% of Americans, I'm the first Sikh that they're interacting with. And they're like, oh, you know, what does your tradition teach and stuff like this? And, oh, it teaches this and that. Oh, well, we didn't know. Why is this not more apparent and stuff? And, you know, I'm even shocked because keep in mind, I'm not even a Sikh who was born into this tradition. So you would think that the ones who are born into it would be more proactive when it comes to spreading the message and just being out there in society and contributing to society. But that's not the reality. So what I would tell Sikhs, I would say specifically in North America, including in Canada, is that we need to get out there and spread the love, spread the compassion, spread the empathy, and to share. And not specifically just to get on TV and to show off and say, oh, look how great we are, but to do it from a place of egolessness, of not I, but like the whole, the oneness. So that's what I would say.
Great, thank you. Before I get over to my next speaker, Dr. Muhammad Habib, I have a few questions with all three of you. Minreet, I would like to start with you. If you could address this question, there is a general saying in our community now that the younger generation is not getting attracted towards Sikhi. And we say that, of course, this is in all the religions we hear, but as we are focusing today on Sikhism only, what do you have to say about this issue? Why are we not being able to become role models for the younger generation? And what is your take on this?
I think being in the UK that a lot of the younger generation are actually coming towards Sikhi and they very much are trying to find out about the Sikh religion, and there are a lot of organisations that obviously do hold katha and things for them to be able to come and attend and understand. Themselves to Sikhi. What I think we probably need to do more of is being able to bring the older generation to the younger, the middle generation and the younger generation, and bringing them together so that people can actually learn a lot more together as a community, be united and being able to understand more what Gurbani is. And I think maybe a lot of it's to do with also Punjabi speaking as well. So I myself, I feel I can't fluently speak Punjabi or write in Punjabi, but I want to, because Gurbani is obviously understood much more. They say if you can read, write Punjabi. So I think it's that we need to encourage the younger generation to read and write in Punjabi, and maybe have more things for them to just understand it a bit more. I think we just need to keep talking about it and keep it going. We need to keep it alive. And for those that are interested and are doing something about it, we need to then kind of make sure we continue that for the other generations to come, so that we're showing the love for it, and maybe that love will grow within them. But I think the problem we do have with the younger generation probably is social media. That's just in life in general. More people are concerned about being on their phones or, being on social media and how many followers they've got. They don't realize that we shouldn't really focus our life on followers. And just as Benji was saying earlier before about social media, I think it's quite good to have a detox and not be on social media and use the time to actually be attached to our Guru,
Right.
and spread the love and compassion and kindness with everyone. And we need to keep spreading that message.
And Minreet, do you also feel that the mode of communication should also be changing? No doubt Punjabi, everybody should know. But what we are finding out is that many times that one-way message which is being promoted from the Gurdwaras is not being understood by the younger generation. So do you feel more kind of seminars and forums where the youngsters are involved and they have the opportunity to ask questions? That is what our focus should be in the Gurdwaras also now?
100%. Yeah, I think that's the problem with the Gurdwaras. I think that's what we need, is more of the younger generation to be able to ask questions, but also for them to be running things and maybe looking at changing things around in the Gurdwara, not in a bad way, not to take anything away, but maybe to have more discussions and, to be able to, anyone who wants to ask questions should be able to ask questions. I think the problem we've got in the UK as well, the Gurdwara is still run by the older generation. It's still the way that they want it to be. That needs to change. And we need to be able to give the younger generation a chance to be able to actually get people to understand Sikhism and to understand Gurbani and to understand Punjabi and come together. Because I do think the more you are together in your Sangat, the more you want to be in that Sangat. It's just, we definitely need to do that, a lot more of it.
Great, thank you. Dr. Jasbir Puri, what is your perspective on this question?
You see, first of all, we have to make our religion, understand it ourselves, and pass it on to the younger generation. For younger generation, we have to talk in their language first. Then, if they want, they will come back and learn the Punjabi, because to get the correct essence of Gurbani, one has to learn Gurmukhi. We have to make them understand the principles of Sikhism. What they are seeing nowadays in Gurdwara is a lot of Prabandhak committees there. There's the infighting going on. When these young children come to the Gurdwara, they see the infighting going on. They said, what we go? We want to learn the peace, but we are learning how to quarrel here. So that's what should be avoided. And it should be in such a way that we have to do, like you earlier suggested, seminars and discussions. We have to discuss with them why we keep long hairs, why we cut. They will ask you, oh, you are cutting nails. But nails is a sign of violence, while this is a sign of spirituality, keeping long hairs. If God never wanted to give you a long hair, He would have made the small hairs like your eyebrows are small. So He could have done that one, because He is omnipotent. So we have to convince them in their questions and answers. They should be able to ask us questions, and we should be able to do more questions. That's what I said earlier. Our preacher, if they are in England, they should be able to talk in English and Punjabi together, like I'm doing it, in between Punjabi and English both. They should be talking so that those youngsters, because they have not understood the Punjabi very well, they can understand. And then we will create an interest for them. So they will be interested to know these religions.
You mentioned this point earlier also, that our priests should be looked after well. That is another important issue which we need to look into.
That's another thing. I know in England, even in our own Gurdwara here, we are not paying them honorably well, but we are here, we are paying still good money, But a lot of other places, they pay them just peanuts, for to live. Like a rental house costs
Right.
in UK about £1,500. They should be funding that 1,500 so that he has got a peace of mind. Then he has to feed his family. Although education is free, health is free in UK. In Ireland, the same. America, a lot of things are free. So those things are there, but they have to have a basic needs of a
Absolutely,
person.
that needs to be met. Great.
You
Thank
know
you, Dr.
that
Saab.
their salary, the preacher salary should be more.
Very true. And we find out, for example, in the Christian community, we find the priests, they are given a good salary, they are given, a lot of facilities by which they can further their studies also and become experts in their own field.
Yeah.
So that's a
Yeah,
point well
they should
taken.
be educated.
Right.
See, I know a lot of bishops and all that. They are all done PhD
Right.
in different comparative religions and all that.
Very right.
Our priests, they are not even school livers, proper school livers,
And
because
of
they
course,
have been practicing
and if we look
Gurbani.
upon ourselves also, would we like our children to become priests? Nobody, because we know how we
Nobody.
treat them. The respect is
Nobody will
only
become.
within the precincts of the
We-
Gurdwara, and outside,
Yes.
how they live. Thank you, Dr. Saab. Gurpreet ji,
Thank you.
briefly, if you could talk on this issue as to what your perspective is on the question of youngsters.
Well, I guess I can definitely answer this since I'm 22. I guess that I would be considered a youngster. For me, I agree with the other speakers that people in my generation need to know about the message of the Sikhi, but also another important element is that it needs to become an alive spirituality for them. So basically, we told them all these stories about, the gurus, and we talk about Sikh history, and we talk about Gurbani, but we also need to talk about how we can live this out in modern times. Like, for example, I recently wrote an article about the Khalsa's role in social justice or social equality, and how, we talk about how the Khalsa back then would stand up for people who were oppressed and would also stand up for themselves. Well, also in the article, I say, today, who would be the oppressed and who would be the oppressor? And so in that perspective, where should Sikhs be? Sikhs should be on the forefront when it comes to these things. Even here in America, I tell other Sikhs, I'm like, if we were actually living out the political ideals of the Khalsa, people would know who Sikhs are. They would know who Sikhs are.
Right.
Whether it comes to climate change, whether it comes to, social justice, et cetera, living out that message of oneness and, integrating Sikhi into it, making Sarbat da Bala apparent and alive in 2021, using past events and the Gurbani.
Right. That's very true. Absolutely, you're right. And this is a point where, as this seminar in which we are talking, that should not get limited only to the seminars only. Again, we have to become the role models, and we have no dearth of think tanks within the community. Individually, we are strong, but collectively, we fail. So, Dr. Saab, in 2 minutes, if you could just address this aspect as to what would be your solution. Like you talked about, you have been doing a lot of intercultural, inter-religious and work in your community over there, and you're trying to tell, but you yourself are a role model for others. So this is probably where we lack, because as you said, truth is high, but higher still is truthful living. Probably we are deviating from those basic principles, what we have talked about: contentment, helping others. There's no point of talking on this part that we are not helping others. We are known all over the world for langars and feeding the needy. But on other aspects, probably we need to start working more. So in 1 minute, if you could sum it up, Dr. Saab.
See, Guru Nanak, if you go from Guru Nanak Dev Ji, he was the biggest explorer in the world for human rights.
Right.
Wherever he went, he preached human rights, how to live on the truthful basis.
Right.
Then he acted himself as a role model. He plowed the field himself and fed the people. That's what it is, giving it to the people. What he gained, he gave. He never told anybody that to form a religion. He called the Gurdwara as Dharamshal. This is your duty of the religion. Because he said always, such work, Santokh Tirat, Gyan, Dhyan, Ishnan. That is the Bani line.
Right.
Let, if you want to have a fasting, have a fast and a ritual of speaking the truth. Santok Tirat, don't go to pilgrimage anywhere. Let your contentment be your pilgrimage.
Right.
Gyan, Dhyan, Ishnan. Let's have a knowledge. And that's your meditation. And that is your ablution also.
Absolutely.
At the same time. Like
Right.
taking a dip in the holy water. No. When you know it and do it. Our gurus, if you see first 5 gurus, first was mainly going on truth. Second one added the contentment. He was being kicked by sons of,
Right.
Guru
Summarize
Nanak
it,
Dev
sir,
Ji
please.
at the same time. And then third Guru, mercy. He was always, they are the pathful, First 2 qualities plus the third. And the fourth one said these 3 should be added, and he put it as the duty, as the dharma. And the fifth one gave us a Guru Granth Sahib that now you must read it and you must think over it and practice it.
Right.
So that's our how the 5 gurus did it. And the
Right.
5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, they brought all the practice and gave us the Khalsa at the end, that now you can fight for justice and act as a defender of faith and the justice and humanity.
Absolutely.
That's
Well,
what
I would love to continue this
we-
discussion, Dr. Saab, Minreet, Gurpreet ji, and Dr. Jasbir Singh ji. Would love to
Thank you,
continue
ji.
with the discussion, but time doesn't permit. I have to introduce my next speaker. He is Dr. Mohd Habib. Dr. Muhammad Habeem is a professor in Islamic and Religious Studies, Guru Gobind Singh Department of Religious Studies, Punjabi University, Patiala. He is presently heading the department, and he began his academic journey from Jamia Millia Islamia, a well-known Central University of New Delhi. His field of teaching and research is Islam, Sufism, and interfaith understanding. He is author of 13 books, and among those which are very prominent are Sikh Dharam Naal Sambandhit Satkarit Muslim Shakhsiyataਂ and Guru Nanak Ate Musalman Antar Dharmik Samvad. He completed 3 research projects, first entitled Hazrat Sai Mian Mir, Life and Teachings, second entitled Guru Nanak in Dialogue with Muslims, an attempt to interfaith understanding, which was his third project. So without much ado, I would like to welcome now Mr. Dr. Mohd Habib, and let's listen to him and then we'll conclude the program. Once again, thank you to all of you. Ji Habib Saab.
जी सत श्री अकाल जी।
सत श्री अकाल जी। अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम। जीना तो है उसी का जो औरों के काम आए, जीना तो है उसी का जो औरों के काम आए, है काम आदमी का औरों के काम आना। आज का जो टॉपिक है वो वैल्यूज दैट मेक्स अस बेटर ह्यूमन बीइंग
जी
इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ गुरु तेग बहादुर शहादत। हम सबको गुरु तेग बहादुर जी का 400 साला मुबारक हो। I congratulate to all 400th birth anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. As per my understanding, the Sikh faith and tradition begins with the hymns of Baba Nanak and completed with the sword of Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th master. The values which are required to humanity were inculcated by the Gurus in the form of Gurbani, which is known now as Sri Guru Granth Sahib. In fact, Gurbani is the repository of the values and teachings which was presented by other faiths and traditions, because Guru Nanak addressed humankind as one family. He presented himself non-sectarian when he said, "Na ko Hindu, na Musalman." That was first value established by Baba Nanak as a godly person. in contemporary society, which was highly sectarian at that time. This value is most required for today's society also. World of 21st century, which is non-postmodern secular democratic society, still witnessing killing and lynching incidents because of color, caste, race, creed, minority, and majority. As per Guru Nanak's vision, the Creator is one, humanity is one, and religion is also one, though it reflects in different forms. But the values which are universal, required to one and all, are similar. Different religious groups trying to achieve them in different methods, mostly in the ways of rituals. Therefore, Guru Nanak reflects, सच उरे सबको ऊपर सच आचार, means focus on personal conduct and character after submitting to the Creator is the most important value which all religions present. He himself set personal example of sharing, langar, and caring, that's known as sangat and pangat. These are values required in day-to-day life for everyone and every society. The rule of his time was hegemonic, feudal, and dynastic. He raised his voice for personal liberty, freedom of choice, equality, and plurality. The task was pursued sincerely by his successors, so much so that Guru Tegh Bahadur, the ninth master, presented himself to supreme sacrifice. That is the value of supreme human being who convinced himself to sacrifice her personal for personal liberties and choices. He was not against the Islam. He at the time he gave a slogan, "Pe kahu ko detna, na pe manat an." He was not against the Islam, but state hegemony, which was which were presenting and thrusting to the people their own statecracy. The Islam, but state hegemony, which were happening in today's society also, and today's polity also is happening. Islam was highly lauded by Guru Nanak himself. It is part of Gurbani itself, Bani of Baba Farid and other Sufis accepted and respected. It is a chance that now today we are discussing values that makes us better human being in the month of Ramadan, which made obligatory to develop values of sacrifice, kindness, charity, equality, brotherhood, caring, and sharing in the character. Let me conclude with the with a Urdu couplet. फरिश्तों से बढ़कर है इंसान होना मगर इसमें लगती है मेहनत ज़्यादा फरिश्तों से बढ़कर है इंसान होना मगर इसमें लगती है मेहनत ज़्यादा बेसिकली values makes us human without values we are not less than animals which mentioned in the Quran itself chapter number 95 named Atteen means the fig verse number 4 and 5 خلق الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين we have indeed created man in the best of mold then do we abase him the lowest of the low because of his deeds. The next verse, number 6, runs that إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونٍ means the people who believe in the Creator and upheld values in life will be given regard and reward in this life and hereafter also as a human being of value. Thank you very much.
बहुत शुक्रिया मोहम्मद हबीब साहब, बहुत ही बढ़िया तरीके से आपने जो हमें एक्सप्लेन किया कि क्या वैल्यूज़ की महत्ता और कैसे हर एक धर्म में जो है वैल्यूज़ के ऊपर इतना ज़ोर दिया गया और हर एक हमारा पैगंबर पीर गुरु जो है उसने इसी के ऊपर फोकस किया कि हम अच्छे इंसान बन के खिदमत करें और ना सिर्फ अपने आप को बेहतर बनाएं बल्कि समाज में भी अपना देन दें. आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. थैंक यू फॉर योर टाइम. सो विद दिस वी वुड लाइक टू कंक्लूड आवर टुडे सेशन एंड वी आर थैंकफुल टू मिनरीत कौर, गुरप्रीत कौर, डॉक्टर जसबीर पुरी and Muhammad Habeem Saab who spoke on this issue. And the purpose of this conference was today to talk about the values that make us better human beings. And as we have heard from all the participants, the focus is that how we need to incorporate these values, because there is a lot of talk we do about values, but when it comes to implementation, we run away from that. So as the speakers have pointed out, we feel and hope that we will learn from what they have suggested and start using them in our lives daily. We are also thankful to our team members, K.S. Aluwalia, Simar Singh, Raja Dhaliwal of World Masters Academy, Manjeet Litt of Litco Investments, and Manjeet Gill of Cloverdale Fuel for helping us spread this information all over the world. So once again, thank you very much and see you tomorrow again with a new topic as we are celebrating Guru Tegh Bahadur's birth anniversary from May 1st onwards till May 9th. So please join us throughout the world, and you know the timings because it's 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So wherever you are in India, it's 9:30 p.m. In London, it is 5 p.m. In New York East Coast, it is 12 noon. So please join us, and we will continue with our discussions in our future seminars also. Once again, thank you very much. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.